I started when I was 21, back in 2004, before Facebook, before Google. And I've closed over 1,000 plus deals, over $300 million plus transactions completed.
Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted property is the most proven path to financial freedom. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and if I can do this business, I am telling you, so can you. So let's get started. We've got an exceptional podcast today because we're talking about overcoming objections. One of the biggest fears that we deal with as real estate entrepreneurs is being on our back foot when a property owner throws something at us that we're not really sure how to answer. So after this podcast, my goal and the goal for all of my co-hosts today is to make sure that you have all the tools in your toolbox to be able to answer those, not only answer the objections, but answer them confidently. So it is my pleasure to introduce again, I think this is we've been on several times together here on the podcast. Keith Everett, Elijah Rubin, and Alex Saenz. Hi. Say hello to everybody.
What's up?
What's going on?
All right. So let's just hit it right off the bat. All right. This one's we're going to start with you, Keith, because Keith, you have been closing deals for years now, and you've been teaching closing techniques.
Sure.
You've been helping people around the country to be more confident on the phones and in person. So I'm going to hit you with the objection that we get so much when we ask somebody if they would consider an offer on their property, and they say to us, well, how much will you give me? So what's your response to that?
That's a good one, though. I think a lot of times, people, they get hung up on that question, especially if we're coming from a red seller. So I like to calm them down a little bit. Hey, I totally understand that you're looking to get an offer as quick as possible, but I plan on giving you a nice amount of money in a short period of time. If you can just allow me to ask you a couple questions about the property, it will allow me to not leave anything on the table for you.
Sure.
Do you have a couple minutes?
Yeah.
So the reason why I do that is because if you're not willing to let me talk to you a little bit and give you a nice amount of money in a short period of time, you're not willing to let me ask you questions to not leave any money on the table, you might not be ready to sell.
Right.
So I kind of break them down mentally like that to see exactly where they at, because there's a big difference between somebody that's a red seller and somebody that's not motivated at all.
Right.
And I think that if you ask that question, you'll figure out which one you're dealing with.
Love it. So you answer their question, but then you ask the question.
Yeah.
Right? Bring back the control and see if they're even somebody that's really thinking about selling the property.
Yeah.
Or are they just like, hey, I'm just curious on what somebody would offer me.
Right.
Right?
Yep. Tire kickers.
Love it.
Yes, sir.
Elijah.
Yes, sir.
I've been offered more in the past. Why would I take your offer?
That's a great question. You've been offered more in the past. Why didn't you just take that offer?
Well, we weren't really ready to sell, and it just wasn't the right time. But you offered $300. I've been offered $350 before.
Well, let me ask you this question. What are you looking to get accomplished? Do you want to squeeze every nickel out of this as you possibly can in the next 3 to 4 months? Or do you want your problem solved easy, hassle-free, no heartburn, no stress? What are you looking to get accomplished most?
Well, I'd like it all. I'd like to get the most for the property in the least amount of time. With the least amount of hassles.
I love that. And listen, what my poppy told me, he said, you know what? In life, you could be happy, you could be right. All right. And I want to be happy. I want to help make you right.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, do you have a pen and paper by you?
Yeah.
All right. So, what I want you to do, I want you to write down $350,000.
Okay.
All right. And then underneath that, what I want you to write down, I want you to write down 6% realtor commissions. I want you to write down 1.5% in closing costs, and then updates. All right. Now, and underneath that, write down what's your total walkaway cash.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you sell it for.
What do you mean updates?
Well, so most of the time, you might need updates or you might need repairs, which we're going to talk about. But we usually want to allocate something for that cost because you want retail, we got to make it look retail, right?
Are you saying that the $350,000 I would have to put work into it?
Well, that's what happens a lot of times. See, a lot of times you think the house is worth $350,000, but we don't walk away with it. And no matter, it doesn't matter what you sell it for. All that matters is how much you walk away with, right?
Love it.
And that's why I get down to what they walk away with number, and that usually walks them back from this unrealistic number to where they really need to be, so we can get a real deal done.
That's Elijah, by the way, if you're just listening to this. Awesome. Absolutely.
Great.
And, Alex, can I stay in the property after you buy it?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me go from a more logical perspective, right?
Sure.
So we always position ourselves as the credibility and problem or the problem solvers to the situation. So
Yeah.
yes, we do offer a 30, 60, 90-day holdback. However, they have to leave some money in escrow because
Sure.
we've had situations where they just goes completely south.
Sure.
But yeah, whether you need
How
to
do you explain it to them
Yeah.
so that they understand it?
Yeah, so Mr. Seller, whether you need 30, 60, or 90 days, I'm happy to accommodate and make that happen for you. In return, this is what's going to happen. We're going to leave a percentage of your proceeds after closing in escrow, where me and you are both protected, allowing you the extra time and allowing our company and my behind, my job, where it's safe for both of us. In addition, we can also provide movers, whether that's with the help of a U-Haul, or I can send my crew there to help you go into a storage, or if you need an additional property, one of our realtors or investment specialists can help you find your next property or rental. So just providing solutions all around. And it's
How much money would you keep? Would be kept? What'd you say? Held back?
yeah, hold back.
Okay. How much money would be held back?
It depends on the time. I mean, typically, if it's 30 days, we like to keep anywhere from minimum 5,000 to 10,000.
Okay.
About a month's
But
rent
I
with
get
the
that.
deposit.
I get that back once I
yes,
move.
yes, Mr. Seller, you do get that back once you move, and it's all held with the escrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So just providing solutions.
Keith,
sir.
I like the offer, but I really need to think about it.
Well, that's the reason why, I like to get a lot of information up front so I can erase that right there. And the few things I like to say is, hey, is there any other decision makers on the process? I want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody else's toes. Just want to be respectful to everybody. If they tell me they're the only decision maker, and then I like to say, hey, listen, we don't buy every property that we run across, but for some reason we able to agree on price today that works for the both of us, and I was able to get that approved with my finance team, what would keep us from getting the process started? And a lot of times, if you give them what they want as far as the price, they want to get it started. So we get all the way down to the end and they need to think about it, then the only thing you can really be thinking about is the price that you don't want that I tried to offer you.
Love it.
So now I'm going back to, I'm just curious about this. I know we're having a conversation. I mean, honestly, how you feel about that price? And most of the time, they're going to tell you they don't like the price. So that way you can fix that, try to negotiate that, and then get back on the same page.
Love it. Yeah, I just want to start out fast with you guys.
Sure,
you know what
sure,
I mean?
we like
it.
We can open this up.
I like
because I want to
objections.
grab everybody's
Sure.
attention
Yeah.
and really because it is a big fear. It was a big fear of mine when I was starting out. I always felt like I had to have the right answer and I had to not say the wrong thing. So it kind of made me hesitant. And I don't think that you have to be necessarily too polished in my experience. I think that you can kind of pause and kind of take some time and kind of not be sure what you're going to say next because that's how people talk.
Right, that's reality.
Right.
If you're too polished, they almost seem like
second.
they kind of put up the force field and they go, wait a second.
Too scripted.
This is somebody that knows way more about this than I do. Am I getting taken advantage of? As opposed to like really using your tone of voice and kind of hesitating as just a normal part of communication, right?
Match your
So
man.
it's not like I want everybody that's listening and watching to understand you can't just you don't have to go out there and just be able to just be as silky smooth as possible because it will really kind of repel some people.
Right,
Just be
right.
human.
Right, people like the vulnerability. People like seeing that you're human. People like people that remind them of themselves.
Sure.
So match your mirror and be more like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's also reps.
Yeah. In addition to that, we forget the fact that most sellers only sell one or two properties in their lifetime.
Lifetime.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
So you are the professional, and professional just knowing a little bit more than the other person within that conversation,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of the times they're looking for the guidance,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and they don't know the process. So their confusion is valid. It's for you to present yourself as the professional in which you aspire to be.
Well, and I say this all the time. There's no seminars and podcasts for homeowners to learn how to talk to wholesalers.
Right. You're right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Right.
I mean, we have this unique skill that we can develop that can really, and really the skill is just uncovering, does this person have a problem with this property
Right.
that a cash offer or creative offer would solve? That's it.
That's it.
That's the whole. That's the whole point of having conversations and pre-qualifying and asking really good questions to the property owners, just to see one. First of all, do they actually want to sell the property?
Right, right.
Because
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, when we're starting out, we think everybody wants to
wants to
sell.
sell.
We're going to try to convince people to sell because it's going to help us, and we kind of come off, with
Mission
with
breath.
assignment fee breath.
Assignment fee, yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
squeeze
Sorry, exactly.
blood out of a
Sorry,
rock.
assignment fee and consulting fees.
So what do you guys do? So let's touch on that subject. How do you know if somebody's made a decision that they want to sell? I'll start with you, Alex.
Yeah, time frame, right? We always
Yep.
ask the qualifying question: is this something that you want to sell as of yesterday, or is this 30 days, 6 months from now, a year from now? Time frame really allows us to know the situation at place within the seller, and then based on that, then we'll provide solutions, offers. If it's, hey, we want to sell a year from now, then we try to get them, okay, why isn't this a now thing? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my kids to graduate, or some type of situation within the family, and then we position for a follow-up. Or actually, another thing we do is longer term escrows. So we'll do a 6-month escrow,
Yeah.
and incentivize the seller to sign the contract today, and and we have the flexibility for them for that 6 months
Love
to
it.
go
Right.
by.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. In addition to that, I think that's definitely the number one time frame definitely helps. But another thing that you could really isolate down in is what happens if you don't sell it.
Exactly.
Walk them through
Yeah,
that thought.
love
Really
it.
take time. If you don't sell, do you see a situation getting worse? Do you see a situation getting better? And if you keep this property, does it get you to your end goal?
Yeah.
And what are you trying to get accomplished
I
again?
like that.
Love it.
I like that. I'm going back to the upfront confirmation. You know what I mean? I think that if more people did that, they'll know what they're getting themselves into. You know what I mean? That's why I like to ask at the beginning. And it's important for you to tell them, hey, listen, we don't purchase every property that we run across. Because I don't want you to thinking, or you think that I'm just thinking about my pockets on that, though. We don't buy. I don't want to come across as thirsty. But if we was able to agree on something, and I got to add that urgency, I got to get that approved. What would keep us from getting the process started?
Love it.
I can ask them easy, do you think we can get the process started? But I like to say, what would keep us? I want them to say, well, nothing would keep us.
Nice.
I'll be ready to go. You know what I mean?
My acquisition manager, Ryan, does a great job. His number one thing is, what's your goal with this property? What's your goal with this property? And I really like asking the question, what's important to you about the buyer for your property?
Ooh,
Because now you can just
be that person.
be.
I like that.
It's the cheat code, because then they're literally telling you who they want you to be. You know what I mean? And
Write that one down, y'all. Write that one
If you
down.
I
can
love
do
that one.
that,
Yeah,
if you
it's
can
nice.
do that, then you've got a deal on your hands. If they're unrealistic, then
Sure,
you're
then
not
you know.
going to convince anybody. We're deal finders, not deal creators, for sure. But it's important to understand what their expectations are going into it, and usually that helps with the timeline and to see if they've actually made the decision to sell.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I love what you were talking about. Like, if you don't sell the property, what happens next? Like, what are you going to do with it? I have that conversation all the time. I don't know if you guys are calling properties that are on market, but like, when you're talking to agents, it's like the number one question I ask and my team asks is, okay, if they don't get this price that they want, what's their plans?
Wait longer?
And they're like,
Pay more
well, they
bills?
don't need to sell it. They'll just fix it up, or they'll do something with it, or they'll wait until they can get the price that they want. And it's like, why do you have it on the market?
Right. And so 6 months, that's fine.
Right?
You're okay with waiting another 2 years? That would be okay with you.
That's awesome.
That's a
just
great
just for
question.
anybody that has that doesn't know you guys, Alex, when did you start?
I started in 2016, 19 years old.
19 years old.
Now
and,
26.
And
Yep.
about how many deals have you done?
500 to 600 closed transactions.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Millions in income.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Incredible. And Elijah, you and I are.
Yeah, it's like I'm a little old in the tooth, a little older over here. I started when I was 21, back in 2004, before Facebook, before Google, and I've closed over 1,000 plus deals,
Love it.
over $300 million plus transactions completed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I started back in 2016. I think that was like the good class right there.
Yeah,
right?
sure. The good
I like
draft
that class.
class.
Good
Sure.
draft class. I like that draft
That
class.
draft class was
60 was
different
nice.
right there.
Yeah.
Strong.
And I did about 400 to 500 deals for sure.
Love it.
You know,
And what market?
Alabama. You know, Huntsville, Alabama, Birmingham, Atlanta, and Houston.
And we're all Phoenix guys.
Phoenix,
But
West Coast.
you've done a lot of deals outside of.
Yeah, I've done deals in about like 20 states.
How?
We have a brand called USA Home Help,
Yep.
so we stick to that USA part.
Is that a lot of pay-per-click? Is
Yeah,
that a
it
lot
was.
of
Yeah, over
internet
the
leads?
last 4 years, internet leads. We've tried Facebook, but primarily Google Ads.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of that, and it's been great this year. It is much different. It's funny because, I started my business door knocking, cold calling,
Yep.
and then you get to the point where you've established enough to where you can start spending money to actually have people call you,
Right.
which is called marketing. And I'll tell you what. Now that
Different dynamic.
Oh my gosh!
Better
my gosh.
dynamic.
It is like you go into like war for like years and years and years, and then you come back and it's like life is just easier with these leads coming in because when you're prospecting and earning the conversations, you have to talk to a lot more people than when they call you.
I'm so glad we started that way
Right.
of prospecting being the proactive
Make it like
side.
grizzled, yeah.
Yeah, because it definitely sharpens you up. Yeah.
And so pay-per-click still doing it?
Yeah, we're still doing pay-per-click. So now we're pre-purchasing leads.
Okay.
So we're from marketing companies.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So they run campaigns, and we just buy their leads in the markets we want. So we just bought 500 leads 2 weeks ago.
Like from.
Qualified PPC leads, yeah.
Do you have a company that you like doing that?
They haven't launched yet, so I'm on their beta, but it's called Nurture Boost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secretive.
Okay.
Nurture Boost.
You got the Rolodex. You got the Rolodex over there.
Even
If you
tell
guys
us.
want,
Can I get a contact?
if you guys want any information,
I'm not even an affiliate, but yeah, we
Hit up
bought that.
Alex
Yeah,
on
we got
his-
the 500.
yeah.
But yeah, we've been running ads, whether it's self-ran campaigns or outsourcing. I've tried a bunch of different companies, but with PPC, here's the biggest lesson because we started.
Explain
cold
what
calling.
PPC is for.
So
anybody
yeah,
that doesn't know.
PPC for everybody listening is pay-per-click advertising. That's not solely just Google ads. It could be Bing, Yahoo, anything pay-per-click advertising.
Yeah.
So typically you would need a landing page with the domain. You have a campaign with a set of keywords. So for example, if I live in Alabama and I go on Google and search up sell my home Alabama, typically the first three ad placements are going to be ads by companies, and then right below that it's going to be the SEO, which is search engine optimization. These are companies that put out blogs and articles to rank, but pay-per-click you're cutting up to the line, but it's pay to play.
Yeah.
It's pay to play, and the biggest lesson that this cost me $500,000 is that we were treating initially. I blew $120,000 on ad spend, right? And that's not the deals that we lost. That's just ad spend.
Wow.
This was in 2017, $120,000 blown away because we were treating pay-per-click leads like cold call leads, right? It's a different dynamic, right? We would get a lead, we'll call 2 days later. Because in cold calling, you could do that sometimes because it's a longer nurture process,
longer,
right?
yep.
But with any online leads, it's it's typically much faster. Like the contact to close is way faster.
Yeah, the stats for my business: 28 days, start to finish, from first time that lead comes in to closing and getting paid for pay-per-click leads. 92 days for calls and texts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Triple.
Yeah. So a lot more nurturing, and like you were saying, a lot of the I mean, listen, when you have a hot lead, you should put that as a high priority. But if you get somebody that's reaching out to you because they want to sell their property, you got to answer it immediately.
Yeah, they're asking you what's going to stop you from buying my
Right.
property. They're qualifying you.
How about you? Lead generation this year, what's working?
Yeah, like for this year, it kind of happened during the last down cycle that kind of saved me during the last recession. Fire damage. I get a lot of deals from the fire damage. It takes me nationwide.
You're the king.
Yeah, fire damage king. I get a lot of deals from putting out content for years ago, and these are one lead source that most people don't touch. However, it takes a little bit. It's on average, we're about 72 days from start to finish.
Sure.
Because it's more work, more information, more details, and these properties sit, but there's a lot less competition on them. So I get a lot of those deals, and now we have kicked in PPC leads.
Yeah.
So much better. So much better. I mean, oh,
The
my
sigh of
goodness.
relief.
Oh, man. I mean, you remember back in the days when there was no skip tracing. I was getting deals out of for sale by owners out of the newspaper.
Yeah.
So now getting PPC leads.
I was calling
phone.
Craigslist.
Craigslist, exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Got a
So
lot of deals from Craigslist.
MySpace ads. No, I'm kidding.
so yeah, that's for sure. So right now the main.
So what do you get referrals from around the country of people that don't know how to work with these fire damaged properties, don't know how to value them, don't know how to work with the insurance companies, because there is a few extra steps and it's very nuanced into making sure that
like
you
3
get the
deals
most
in
out of
one.
those.
Yeah, absolutely. There's multiple steps that they have to jump through. It's not most people are kind of afraid of how it looks. That scares most people off,
Yeah.
right? Those who have the courage to take those on, then like, how do I analyze this? This is not 70% MAO, so they kind of dig in, not know the numbers, and then they don't know how long they have to wait.
Right.
They don't know about certificate of occupancy, and then when you throw the insurance piece in there, they really leave that on the table, and they don't know they can make 1 check on wholesaling, 2 checks on getting a supplemental claim, and 3 checks by helping them find another property.
Yep.
And so now I have students all over the country. I got people seeing content. And I got actually homeowners who saw some of my old YouTube when I had braids back in the day. They seen it. Can I just put out content for them? They're like,
Sure.
hey, ask for this for an insurance company. Ask for this. So I position instead of just being a wholesaler or investor with cash, I like to view myself as a trusted advisor.
Yeah, sure.
And if you position that side from yourself, now I'm being more valuable than just cash for your house.
Yeah, but it's a niche that you've been in for a long time.
Yeah. I'm in my 9th year on the fire damage.
Yeah.
So this is and global warming is just making things hotter. So
Yeah,
there's more deals, more opportunities.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Keith.
for me, it's cold calling. We got like 10 callers right now.
Yep.
Cold call squad. That's what we've been using. And the way we're doing it is a little different now. Usually we get those big old, very broad lists, absentee owner, high equity lists. But since times have changed, we do all niche lists in more markets.
Love it. Love
So
it.
think about it, though. Think about if you go more niche, but you have to do more markets because you got to be able to get enough data. Send those to the callers, and then you'll be able to talk to more motivated sellers.
And is it all in Alabama?
No. That's why we're
over.
in Houston.
Right.
The Atlanta.
So how do you find buyers for your deals?
Oh,
'Cause
it's multiple different ways,
Yeah.
though. So I can go from the paid way. Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep it simple real quick,
Okay.
right? The best way when you enter in a new market to find, a buyer is through realtors.
Yep.
You can go like to drbill.com. We purchase realtor lists in 50 states, almost 2 million realtors.
They're
So
now part of Batch Leads, by the way. They
Really?
have the
Wow.
whole
Wow.
nationwide,
Okay.
Love it.
that whole
Okay.
Dr. Bill's realtor list, which
Okay.
has been what I've used since
I have it too. Yeah.
like 2013.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't
for
know that.
real.
Okay.
It is now Batch put that into their into their system for
Check that out
just
for
the
sure. Though.
subscription.
Definitely
Yeah.
gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So,
And
yeah.
you just reach out to the
yeah,
agents.
yeah,
and
for
say-
sure. That's the easiest way. And then I got
Now,
like
are you reaching out to the whole list? Or are you looking at agents that? Because there's 2 ways to do this, right?
Yep.
You can go and you can kind of, hit the whole list with a text message, text message marketing, or an email, and just see which ones filter through. You
Yeah,
don't want to hit
yeah.
it too much, or you get
Right.
caught with
it's
spam
gonna
and all that.
spam, yeah.
But you can do that to kind of figure out, filter it, or
Yeah.
do you go? That's what you do.
So that's the more broad way
Yeah.
you could do it though. Or you can get on like okay, for instance, like PropStream. If you go on PropStream and you looking at the comps, you hit MLS. If you scroll down from there, it's gonna show you the realtor, the number,
Yep.
their email, and then it's gonna show you exactly where their office is. So it's multiple different ways you can do it.
There's some great tools. I don't know if you guys have messed around with Privy. That's one of Jamil's big affiliates
out.
and
Okay.
partners and what he does. And they show you all of the fix and flips in the area,
Okay.
which is really cool. You see what people bought it for, what they sold it for, and what kind of product they put out, which is really cool because they have before and after pictures
Okay.
Oh,
of the
nice.
properties.
wow.
that,
How do they get the
that are
before
posted.
ones?
It's all like listed.
Oh, listed deals.
Typically,
Flick-
it's like the properties that they bought on the MLS and then sold,
it.
or previously listed years ago and then it's sold. Like they'll pull any past
Wow.
listing
Love that.
pictures of it and then the new ones.
I'm gonna check
so
that out.
It's a really pretty powerful tool. It's really cool. All right, awesome. So This is a year. This is all led up. I hope we gave you guys enough value in this conversation so far to lead up to something that's really exciting and really what has put you guys in all matching outfits today. And that is
the Closers Olympics.
I am so excited about this. This is the third
third
round.
Third season, we're in it. You know,
Crazy.
You know, I think you know, especially when you started out, you know, you close some deals, you feel good, you pay some bills, close some more deals, then you become like kind of man in your crew, your camp. You're buying the dinners, you're taking care of everything. But then after closing enough deals, you're like, man, who else is closing deals like this? You really want to know who's the best closers.
Sure.
And you go to your local market and you hear people doing deals, and at some point you want to know who is the best closer in the country. And that is literally one of the ways we came up with Closer Olympics, because we want to know who is the best closer, female or guy, in the country.
Well, I think you guys also, I remember the first year that you guys had put it together, the goal was to really show people real life.
Yes, that's the main
Because we are living in a world where everything has like an Instagram filter over it, and everything's easy, and everything's super fun and light, and
no losing, no failure.
It's just so easy. And here's the checks that we did, and here's the flip that we did, and here's
Right.
Everything's got rose colored glasses on. But this was showing the real nitty gritty, and I think that's what you guys really wanted to bring to it, was like, hey, listen, you know, for the first time probably ever, anybody from whatever background, from whatever neighborhood, from whatever, you know, whether their family had done in real estate investing or not, whether they had read Rich Dad Poor Dad or not, whether they had been to college or not, anybody could pick up the phone and change their life financially.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was what I felt the first year that we did this, and it was Carlos and it was Max Maxo and it was myself as judges, and we had an incredible group of contestants and competitors in that, and it's just grown from there, and it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally changed people's lives.
Yeah, and I think what you see, like, people get hung up on, you see even top $1 million producers stuttering, getting scared.
Right. Sure.
It makes you see like, oh, so they're just like me. They're not a superhero. They're able to do it. And I think being that vulnerability, and then you get to see them execute on the call.
Yeah, and then flip it.
I could do it.
Yeah.
And then you see it, you could be it. I think it makes it so much.
So for
doable.
the audience, like, what exactly is it?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So if you somebody that's never been to the Closer Olympics, you know, you get all the, you know, the top closer, you know, millionaire producers around the country with a blend of people who may not have done $1 million, but they can't close deals. So if I'm in the audience, I'm taking notes. First, before I even come to the Closer Olympics, I'm writing down everything that I'm having trouble with when it comes to being on that phone. And if you watch the top closers in the country get on them phones, right, and compete, you're going to figure out everything that you're having trouble with. And even better than that, you might even identify with somebody who got a similar clothing style as you that you can kind of monitor from there.
Yeah, and model them and get into their tribe, get into their community, find somebody that you can really connect with. I mean, it's a gut feeling, right? You see somebody, you hear somebody, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can really, that person really connects with me and the way that I'm thinking about this business. And so that opens it wide open. But it's you're getting 30, 40 years of experience in 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah,
Sorry, 3 days. And even a fourth day
Now it's
with,
fourth, yeah.
with
Now we got
selling the
dispo
deals.
day.
But there's nowhere else that you're going to have that much talent over that much period of time just pouring into you for the cost of a dinner.
Just a dinner. Just a dinner. I remember working at this call center. I'm going back a couple years, right? I know it's coming. I know we're going back to when Jesus walked the earth.
The 1900s?
1900 when the buggy was created. No, and I remember I was like 16 years old, and I'm working at this call center, and this lady, Melissa Main, I remember to this day. I just remember she's on the phone, and I remember the confidence she talked with. She told this guy, go and grab your credit card. You're spending $10,000 right now. And the guy went and grabbed the credit card and did it. I'm like, I'm sitting for like 2 months on my own, struggling, and I'm finally sat there like, what are you doing? You're top of sales every week. And so I just sat there and watched her. And I remember from that day, I'm like, I could watch somebody, I could duplicate it. And if she could do it, I could do it. If she could bake a cake, I could bake a cake. And so taking that same concept and just being able to do it on a bigger scale, we're opening it up for thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. People all around the world is able to see, whoa, this is the technique, this is the strategy, this is how they execute on that one hurdle I can't overcome. I could do this. And I just think when you feel it, when you see it, it's so much easier to beat it, you know?
How can people see the competitors? How can people, get in there and register? How do we get access to this?
So all you have to do is go to closerolympics.com. All right, go to closerolympics.com.
Closer.
Yeah, exactly. Closerolympics.com. And like I said, I'm sure there'll be links here somewhere for you guys.
Yep.
And then what you do, you get your tickets, $97 for general admission. However, make the investment, it's like $300. You're going to get both years of the past Closer Olympics. So it's over 50 hours of real close. We're not teaching you strategies and techniques. We're applying everything we teach. We're applying it's game time, right?
Yep.
Then you also get a mini course of ours that we put together just to give more value of how to close deals. You get your ticket, and you get one of the Closer Olympics hats too.
Come on.
Yep. And
Nice.
this year, because of shout out to Investor Lift, they're the grand sponsor, and we're doing a 4th day Dispo Day.
Awesome. Yeah.
Anybody who has the VIP, they're able to submit their leads that they can't sell in their markets. They could submit them, and on Dispo Day, top 3 closers in the Dispo world is going to Dispo their deals.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
And you
Absolutely
keep it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
right.
crazy.
And you can make the bread. So you spend $97 to $300, make 10, 12. I mean, in year 2, we closed one guy's deal who submitted
Tommy?
leads.
Was it
Tommy.
Tommy?
Yeah,
Tommy,
shout out
yeah.
to Tommy. Closed his deal. He submitted. He paid $97. Submitted the lead. I ended up closing it. We ended up making like $22,000. He made like $8,000 on the deal off a $97 investment.
Yeah.
Plus, he's like, well, you closed a deal that my guy couldn't close. So now
Dang.
he has the evidence that's possible that they could do better and close bigger.
Well, and listen, not only that, but it's audience participation as well. You know what I mean? Like the questions that you have or the challenges that you have that you're facing that have happened from whatever, some lead that you talked to that week or a couple weeks ago, or somebody that really kind of slowed your momentum down because they threw you off. You can get that answered by the judges,
yes, yeah.
by you know what I
Yep,
mean?
exactly.
And so it's not like you're just watching this and like passively participating.
Yeah.
You can actively participate in this as well.
In the chat sessions. Like
Go
you have
crazy.
people in the
They go
chat sessions, like
crazy.
Oh, the chat
half
sessions
the
for
fun
that.
of it.
Man.
You got people from talking crap to share
Yeah.
knowledge, highlighting what the judges notice. I think that's a big part of like when you watch the Closer Olympics. Yes, hearing the closers close is absolute value. But I gotta give my guy Brent some flowers. You've been here for all 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the information, the breakdown, the analysis, the little details that you may overlook, you're not only highlighting it, but you're showing how to apply it.
Yep.
I think that's just unbelievably value you get.
You know, one of my favorite things about the Closers Olympics is it take me back to last year or 2021 with Monif, right? And he was an underdog. Not many people knew about him other than the sub 2 community. Shout out to Pace. But you take a guy like that and you put him in the mix with some of the bigger brands, and that is let people know that's watching that, hey, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I think when you take that underdog story, it's always good for a competition like this because somebody out there wondering, could they do it too? And, shout out to Munib because he gave everybody hope last, Closer Olympics.
I love it. And I think, listen, this is an ability. You have the ability to network with incredible people that take it seriously. Nobody's going to buy this ticket and invest the time if they don't want to improve their skills.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And so if you want to improve your skills in communicating, which this whole business is based
all
on,
about.
we're not providing a product to somebody, right? We're providing a service when we go out there. Not even that, we're providing them an offer. We're giving people cash for their properties or some sort of creative finances. So our ability to communicate is our toolbox.
Right. That's our weapon.
All the tools in the toolbox can be different, but that is the toolbox.
Yeah.
Is our ability to have effective conversations with property owners, especially property owners that are going through tough times and going through some distress. So it's going to be absolutely exciting.
Yeah, I love the blend of closers
Yeah.
because everybody relates to somebody specific or different.
Right.
Like I'm not so much a aggressive closer, but I'm like more.
RJ?
Yeah, I'm like more of a people, advisor role. So I resonate with, let's say, like Steven Morales from last year versus RJ.
Yeah.
But they both work.
Right.
Like, the proof is in the concept. So it's really cool to just see like people adopt by different closers and kind of resonate towards different people.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, and that's why I think it's so great that we're incorporating females into this, because I feel like females are some of the best closers out here in the game.
Yeah, easy.
For sure. And then, but like to your point, like having a Munif, having an introvert, he's a real introvert. He really is an introvert, and being able to show an introvert, holding a latte, nice as can be, nicest guy could. I mean, he'll give his shirt off his own back, still be a lethal closer.
Yeah.
Be a lethal closer. I mean, he's the number 2 closer in the country last year.
Yeah.
And so I think it gives evidence of no matter who you are, what your background, what your beginning. I feel like real estate itself is the ultimate equalizer against poverty, against sexism, racism, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
Real estate equalized the playing field. Being a closer and improving your closing skill set allows you to have longevity. You never have to go back and punch a clock for anybody else if you choose to work on something. Like you said, you pick up your phone for free. You can turn words into wires, turn conversation into cashier's checks, and you can get a bunch of people doing exactly what you could be doing every day.
Here's the
dope.
interesting thing that I found is when you're speaking with a property owner, there's only a certain amount of things that they can throw at you. There's only a certain amount of objections that they're going to throw at you. And you're going to see them answered differently by different people that have different communication
That's
styles.
dope.
But the objections in themselves at their core are pretty much all the same. So if you're out there and you're like, well, I want to build a really profitable business and I don't have a lot of money, but I'm getting started, or I'm starting to bring people onto my team. I mean, this is your chance to not only get the responses to them, but to get it's almost like you're getting the questions to the test before you have to take the test and you're getting all the answers and then you just have to do the work.
That's it.
Yeah,
Go do the work.
that's facts though. And another thing we did to take it even further, because it's not only just getting all the top players together and letting them compete. It's not only just educating the people, but we even took it further by adding the qualifier rounds this year, which we've been doing it one time a month. You got to think about it. We want to identify the best closers that's around the country or around the world. That's why we created the qualifier rounds this time. And we having 6 of them, and only one person from each round can move on to the first day of the Closer Olympics, which is the open runs. And then, once you compete in the open runs on that Friday, it's going to, if you win that, you get a chance to punch a ticket to the big dance with the big players. So
I love it.
Yeah.
CloserOlympics.com. Check it out, guys. I would do everything that you can to get the VIP. I really would, because the price to value is absolutely bananas. So go check it out. CloserOlympics.com. I will put a link in here to make it super easy. And that's it. Awesome, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, thank you,
Keith,
absolutely.
Elijah,
Appreciate the family.
Alex.
Appreciate you.
Great to see you guys. It's going to be absolutely incredible. When is the dates?
July
geez.
28th, 29th, and 30th, and the 31st for the 4th day. Yep.
I love it. Join us all. We will all be there. We love you. We want you to be successful. We want you to build something special, and we want you to be successful and build something special as quickly as possible. We love you guys. See you soon.